Hello everyone, it's Mononoke Draws back with another video. This time I did a speed paint. I unfortunately didn't record the beginning part of this painting, so it's already got line art and flats, but then you can kind of see how I render and color a painting from flats to finish. And this is a draw this in your style. The character is from the lovely Kleavii, I think that's how you pronounce it, on Instagram. So definitely go follow her and check out more of her art because her character is super cute. Anyway, let's get into it. So here's the drawing with flat colors plopped in. I picked the colors from the original drawing to try to be as accurate as possible to the original. The light source is kind of above front for this character, and then I started with a hard brush to get the shadow areas first, and then I eventually smoothed it out with a blending brush or an airbrush depending on which part I'm using and how soft I want the shadows to be. It's definitely important to use a mix of like a hard shadow and a soft shadow just to add dimension and not make it look super blurry. Just like a blurry tone, which I think a lot of beginning artists tend to do with just when they shade with airbrush only. And I generally start with midtones, shadows, and then highlights. And then here I'm recoloring my line art layer, so I'm using a darker tone than the shadow color that I chose for each part. I do this with the skin, I do this with the shorts, the shirt. Yeah, I didn't want a harsh, kind of cartoony dark line for this piece. I wanted to render it a little bit, but still have the line art showing. So this is what I decided to do. It makes it a little softer, a little more painterly, I would say. Next thing I did is added shading for the shorts. Again, thinking about where the folds are and where the tension might go. Though the pose is pretty neutral, so the contrast in the folds in the shorts should be fairly loose, fairly big. I blocked in the darkest shadows and then added some soft airbrush to the sides to indicate her legs are actually cylinders. I decreased the opacity of the shadows because they were way too dark. And then I added these smaller creases and blended things out a bit. So what I usually do is add a lighter color to the insides of these creases that I make, and then kind of create these scooped out shadows, because creases aren't like a flat indent in something usually. They're like a curved, what do you call them? Like a concave surface. So that's how you do that. And then it helps transition the folds into the rest of the clothes and not make them look like kind of cutouts. Blend, carving out areas. How I render is kind of like sculpting, where I lay a block of color and then carve it out with another color to create a more 3D effect. So it's continually adding shadows and highlights. And then I added this stitching to the edges of the pants where stitches would normally go, and it kind of reduces the harsh lines of the shorts a little bit and makes them feel a little bit more real. I mean, I think it's a simple detail like this that really adds to the polish and realism of the clothes, even though you don't see it up close. I personally like how it looks. So the shirt was kind of tricky because it's a gradient from light blue to purple, which is super pretty, but it also made a weird kind of shade. It's hard to shade it because of the gradient. And I didn't want to lose how the gradient looked, but I also didn't want it to kind of look like a color blocked light blue and then it suddenly changes to purple kind of thing. So I shaded it with all the same blue tone, and then had to be aware of how it draped over her body, making sure that she actually has boobs. I added a pinker mid-tone to the lilac part of the shirt just so that it had more depth to it. And then I kind of did the same carving thing with the creases. And this middle heart thing, like I don't know what it is exactly. I guess it's like a heart, like a love meter. That was pretty simple. I didn't do much. I just drew out 2 lines and then erased the edges to make it fit. And then I had this like overlay layer, I think, or it might have been an add glow layer where I add these like lightning tendril-y veins and they're actually part of her skin. Like they're only appearing under her shirt, but they also aren't part of the shirt. Does that make sense? So that was interesting. I feel like I added a little too much, but you know, it's not my drawing if I don't add a little too much. And then the band-aids, a lot of band-aids. In her character description, she mentioned that she just had a lot of band-aids, and I don't know why. She might be accident prone, or there might be something else going on. I don't know. She's not my character, so I can't really say for sure. And I know this is kind of an aesthetic choice. It's popular in some art circles, but that's a whole discussion, and I won't get into it right now, but I can make a video about it in the future. And don't mind me in the side. I'm the reference photo, and I am in my pajamas. So here I'm going over the skin again and blocking out kind of dark blue shadows, like really drastic shadows to really make things pop, especially under the chin to separate the neck and the head. Otherwise it kind of looks really flat. And then I added little dark shadows on the legs as well. Ooh, ugh. The eyes look really creepy. I don't know why I decided to do a more realistic eye when the face shape and the hair are very like cartoony kind of anime style. It might just be an effect of like me using myself as a reference, and then the proportions ended up being more realistic than I usually like to do. So that's that. It took a lot of work to get these eyes right, to just add different layers of color and filter, and then yeah, I don't know. the eyes are they're interesting. They took a long time. Oh, and the lashes. Oh my gosh. I need someone to teach me how to paint lashes because I don't like the way that I draw them. I usually draw too many and then they look too big, or like they don't look like they're coming out of the same place, and they end up looking kind of spidery and like she's got wonky mascara on. So if anyone has a lash tutorial, link it to me. That would be great. Also, sorry if this whole thing is very zoomy in and out. That's kind of my drawing process, but I'm trying to stop doing that for videos like this where I talk over my work, because it's just really annoying and a little seizure inducing for anyone who's sensitive and seizure prone. I'm really sorry that you can't watch this video. But I'm trying to be conscious of it, and I'm going to do it less in the future to make my videos more accessible to people and not have it be like this crazy in and out type of flashing experience. I totally skipped over talking about the lips because I was too busy talking about that, but it's okay, it's not important. Glasses. Glasses are really hard to draw. And I have glasses, so it sucks because I like drawing characters with glasses. The glasses are annoying AF to draw. I basically just drew on top of the line art for this, again with the carving out kind of thing. Oh gosh. Carving out the frames, making them look like cylindrical tubes, and then adding the lenses, which are this kind of bright color. They're kind of like shades, but also like lenses, like regular glasses. I don't know. Transitions. Glasses people will know what transitions are. Like glasses people from the early 2000s. Oh man. Anyway, hair. I changed the line art color for the hair. I basically painted over the lines for the hair because I didn't like how they looked. They're kind of a little gross and messy. So I painted over the whole thing, all the hairlines for some reason. For hair, I just lay down the colors and then I use a smudge tool to blend it all together. And then filled in the clips, rendered in the clips. A lot of cute clips. Oh, and then I added like a big blocked shadow for the inside of her hair to show the depth of her bob haircut. And then I like the shadow so much that I just added it everywhere else. Just the same tone of blue. If you have trouble shading and picking colors for shading, just use one color for the whole thing and it'll unify it. I think that was on a multiply layer, and then I played with the opacity a little bit to make it less drastic. Ooh, and then backgrounds. I suck at backgrounds, FYI, which is why this background looks the way that it does. I added the gradient from her shirt, and then I wasn't sure if I liked it. I added a crap ton of petals in the background, the cherry blossom petals, and then added a couple in the mid and foreground to make it look like she's actually surrounded by petals and she's not being chased by a large pile of petals. And then made them blurry to kind of give like a visual focus, depth of field type of thing. Yeah, so that's the finished piece. Hope you enjoyed this talking over it, and I'll be sure to post more kinds of videos like these in the future, just showing my process, and maybe have a more structured tutorial versus this, which is more me ranting on top of a speed paint. Yeah, so thank you for watching. See you next time.